The Great Hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with light from distant stars. Thousands of species filled the tiers of seats that curved around the center chamber, each waiting for the final round of peace talks. The air was thick with tension, though the council claimed the gathering was about unity. Every being in the hall knew that if these talks failed, the fragile peace that had lasted for centuries could fracture beyond repair. At the center stood the human delegation. They were smaller in number than most others, but carried themselves with quiet strength. Their representative stood with calm eyes, his hands folded behind his back. The council had debated for weeks, and now every species waited for the humans' response to the final proposal. The head of the council, an elder being whose voice sounded like distant waves, leaned forward. "Humans of Earth, your colonies grow rapidly. You claim countless worlds, trade through our routes, and expand beyond agreed borders. We propose that humanity restrict expansion for a century. The balance must be maintained." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Some nodded. Others whispered discontent. Many had grown wary of humanity's sudden rise from a minor world to a dominant force across multiple sectors. The human representative did not answer immediately. He looked around, his gaze calm but sharp. Then he spoke. When the council called for peace after the Orion conflict, humanity honored it. When the trade accords were written, humanity opened every route requested. We followed every law written in your halls. But when our ships were attacked last year and our people killed, the council said it was a misunderstanding. When we demanded justice, the council delayed the trials. And now, after all this, you ask us to stop growing, to stand still, because others fear what we might become. Silence spread through the vast chamber. The elder being's voice grew stern. The council maintains order for the good of all. Fear is not the issue, stability is. Humanity's rise disrupts that balance. You must understand this. The human representative took a slow breath. We understand more than you think. We understand that peace to the council means obedience. We understand that balance means others may advance while humans must wait. We understand that when humans are attacked, our pain is discussed, not avenged. He stepped closer to the central platform. We came here for peace, not permission. If this is the best the council can offer, then humanity withdraws from these talks. A wave of alarm moved through the chamber. Council members began to argue. Voices clashed in a dozen languages. The elder being tried to call for calm, but the humans were already walking away. The light from their platform dimmed as they exited through the silver archways, leaving behind the noise and confusion of the council hall. For the first time in centuries, a species had walked out of peace talks. In the following weeks, the council tried to downplay the event. Official statements called it a temporary suspension of dialogue. Yet across the galaxy, the story spread faster than any communication net could contain. Humans withdraw from peace talks blazed across news networks. Reactions were mixed. Some species cheered, others feared what might come next. Trade convoys began redirecting from council-approved routes to independent human corridors. Old treaties were quietly re-examined. Every government suddenly realized how much they had come to depend on human technology, resources, and logistics. 1,000 years of slow human progress had quietly built an empire of influence. Their colonies on frontier worlds supplied rare minerals. Their fleets guarded trade lines in volatile regions. Their scientists had unlocked medicines that saved entire species. And now they were gone from the Council's network. In orbit above a blue-white planet, human command ships gathered. Messages from allies arrived one after another, requesting clarification. Would humanity still trade? Would they still offer security in neutral zones? The human representative from the talk stood in the observation deck of the flagship, looking down at the planet below. It shimmered with massive orbital rings and shipyards that stretched across the sky. A younger officer approached and spoke quietly. The council seems panicked. They're sending envoys to our colonies offering new terms. The representative nodded slowly. They thought they could bind us with rules made in comfort while we built in struggle. They've forgotten where humanity came from. We never waited for permission before. We won't start now. The officer hesitated. Do we respond to their messages? The representative looked out at the stars. Not yet. Let them feel the silence. Let them understand the weight of absence. Months passed. The galaxy began to shift. Without human cooperation, the council's systems faltered. Shipping schedules collapsed. Frontier patrols failed. Pirates and rogue fleets struck unguarded routes, overwhelming local forces. Human corporations, no longer bound by council law, expanded rapidly into regions once forbidden. Colonists moved in vast waves to unclaimed worlds, building settlements that grew faster than the council could track. The council tried to impose sanctions. They froze accounts, seized trade stations, and banned human exports. Yet the results shocked them. The prices of essential goods skyrocketed. Energy cells, medical compounds, starship components, all once maintained by human production, became scarce. Council fleets, built with human designs, began to break down for lack of parts. Civil unrest grew on member worlds as supplies dwindled. The carefully constructed order of the galaxy began to unravel. Behind closed doors, the elder beings of the council held emergency meetings. Voices that once dismissed humanity now trembled with concern. One advisor spoke in a whisper. "They are not at war with us, yet the galaxy crumbles as if they were. This is not force, it is consequence." The elder being nodded slowly. "Perhaps we have mistaken cooperation for dependence. Humanity gave freely and we assumed they needed us as much as we needed them." Another member said bitterly, "We thought their loyalty was weakness. Now their silence is power." In a small border system, a group of council envoys finally secured a meeting with human officials. The human outpost was built from shining alloys and surrounded by automated defense arrays. As the envoys entered, they saw human banners fluttering in the artificial breeze, symbols of independence, not alliance. The lead envoy spoke carefully. "The council wishes to renew dialogue. We acknowledge that certain actions may have been unjust. The galaxy needs stability, and humanity's cooperation is vital." The human commander looked at the envoy, his expression unreadable. Cooperation was offered. It was dismissed. Respect was requested. It was denied. "Tell me why now?" The envoy hesitated. "Because the council understands the cost of division. We have made mistakes." For a long moment no one spoke. Then the commander leaned forward. "When we joined the council centuries ago, we were told we were part of something greater. We believed that. We believed in unity and progress and peace. But peace without fairness is just control. You treated us as guests in our own galaxy." He stood, his voice steady. The council's mistake was not in words or policies. It was in forgetting that humanity does not bow. "We listen, we compromise, but we do not kneel." The envoy swallowed hard. "Then what will it take to rebuild trust?" The commander looked toward the stars through the transparent wall. "Time, actions, and truth. The council must admit publicly what it denied privately, that humanity upheld the peace when others broke it. That we gave when others only took." The envoy nodded slowly. "We can deliver that message." The commander's gaze softened. "Do that, not for our pride but for the balance you claim to protect. The galaxy does not need more rules. It needs honesty." When the envoys returned, the council faced its most difficult decision in history. To admit fault was to reveal weakness. Yet every report from across the galaxy confirmed the truth. Without human cooperation, their grand network of civilization was falling apart. After weeks of internal struggle, the council convened a public session broadcast to every world. The elder being stood at the center once more, his voice echoing across the stars. "Many cycles ago, the council welcomed humanity into our fold. We saw in them ambition and courage, but we feared their pace, their strength, and their will. We tried to restrain what should have been celebrated. In doing so, we wronged them. The peace we claimed to preserve became chains upon their growth. Today, the council acknowledges its mistake. Humanity has earned not suspicion but respect." The word spread across the galaxy. For the first time, the council spoke not from authority but humility. On countless worlds, beings of every species paused to listen. Some were astonished. Others quietly smiled. Humanity, once dismissed as reckless newcomers, had compelled the greatest governing body of the galaxy to admit error, not through war, but through withdrawal. When the news reached the human colonies, reactions varied. Some cheered, others remained cautious. The representative who had walked out of the peace talks watched the broadcast in silence. When it ended, he turned to the officers around him. "They finally understand," he said softly. "Peace is not given by decree. It's built through respect." One officer asked, "Will we return to the council?" The representative shook his head slightly. "Not yet. Let them rebuild what they broke. Let them prove they've learned." Humanity will watch, and when the time comes, we'll talk again. But next time it will be as equals. He looked out at the endless stars, their light reful,